Hi everyone, I'm reporting live from a bathroom. We're going to do a reteach and a redraw today. The focus is we need to think in value shapes, lights, mediums, and darks, and angles. The objective is to identify one area of your drawing that you would like to improve, and then maybe draw that object bigger, right? So you could get the relationships of the lights, mediums, and darks and angles correct. So this lesson is also geared at the importance of revision and using Procreate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit play. This is the reference photos that I've been working with from my Sustained Investigation 3. And I knew I wasn't done with the drawing when I did my first draft. So these are my revisions. Here we go. So I took a new reference photo of a hand because I felt like I needed more space to accurately get the angles right. So as you can see, I'm doing overhand grip right now, and I'm really focusing on the negative space. The negative space is like the empty space in between the fingers, and I'm making sure I get those shapes right. Also, I'm drawing the anatomy of the hand, and I'm thinking of the fingernails as planes. And I'm just checking myself and making sure the angles are right. The hand is really a bunch of forms, getting those knuckles right too. The knuckles are a bunch of forms coming out into space. So I'm kind of getting the placement of everything right with reference points. Just focusing on getting that cup in the background. Don't think of the cup in circles, but think of it as angles, right? So think in angles rather than circles, like is everything in the right size, the right angle. Now with white charcoal, right, you think of white as a color. I'm going ahead and I'm getting in those important relationships, including the wedding ring, and starting to like get those marks in and make adjustments with my white eraser. There are highlights on the knuckles. That's another reason why I wanted to retake the photo, because I felt like it wasn't a good image of a hand where I could really see it. And I'm erasing, I'm taking away, adding highlights. By drawing in white charcoal on toned paper, I'm really catching my mistakes, my errors, and it forces me to think of value instead of line. So I'm always like, okay, where are my lights? Okay, are they the right shape? Are they the right size? And then by now it's time to get my darks in. And that includes thinking again in negative space, right? So I'm not thinking in line. I think a lot of you are thinking in line. But I'm like, okay, where are the big dark shapes in my composition? Blending that out and kind of like thinking about softening some edges, right? But I want to think about where are those high points of contrast, that chiaroscuro, that's going to guide my viewer's eye through the composition. Okay, really defining the knuckles, going in, using the white line to define. And this is important too. I'm getting the shape like of the negative space on the outside, right? Getting all of that shape right. And I'm seeing a lot of contrast where the fingers meet the cup. There's like a flap of skin. Now getting the angles right on the anatomy of the wrist, right? There are all so many different angles happening, right? And I'm making kind of like adjustments there. And I didn't have that in the other photo. I couldn't see wrinkles like this, getting in some hatches, and really defining those little details at the edges to make sure it's right. This will get me to score higher just because I'm experimenting with charcoal and making discoveries with a new material. Again, don't play it safe. They want a wide variety of materials. Using charcoal pencil now, moved away from the willow, and I got really cool like thin lines that are really, really effective. At this point, though, it was making a lot of noise, and I was drawing at 4 a.m, and I was waking people up in the house. So in a second, I'm going to have to stop drawing. But you always draw with a sense of urgency because you never know when you're going to be interrupted. You want to get as much work done as possible, really defining the whites, right? And I wanted to do the whole cup in white, but I didn't have the time. Trying to get in that negative space, checking myself by drawing the background, right? I'm like noticing other darks that I could bring in. I'm always toggling back and forth between white and dark, if you see. Like I'll have black for a while, and then I'll have white. The paper is my mid-tone, right? So the reason why, okay, and that's my first draft, right? And I didn't use fixative. And then here's my new hand that I'm going to put into that draft. Okay, another area of the composition that I didn't get that detail in, that drawing, was this man that I took a photo of. Now, I couldn't draw in charcoal anymore, right? But I knew I could draw on the iPad because the iPad was quieter, right? So I went ahead and I am using different line weight to get the angles right of the figure, making adjustments. Same process on the iPad, really. I'm drawing the negative space. I made the canvas bigger so I could see that long leg that's kind of like stretching out, using a lot of hatches. Then I realized I'm drawing on white paper and I'm going to put this into the composition. So I need to have green toned paper, mid-toned paper. And then I'm still making adjustments. Now I'm thinking in white. So notice how on the iPad, I'm following the same process that I did on the charcoal paper. And I'm transferring that learning over. Drawing in white, drawing in dark, switching back and forth, trying to get the angles right. Now here, I got a little impatient and I was like, let's just draw in gouache. So I started to like map in some gouache and I wanted it even darker. So now I jumped to ink. So I'm kind of cheating a little. The iPad gives me all sorts of different mediums, but I'm getting that shadow in because I felt like the shadow had a softer feel. Now I'm putting in my darkest darks. I probably went too dark here. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like softening it up. And then going crazy with the marks, because especially if you're in AP drawing, they like seeing a variety of marks and just being very experimental and expressive. You have to ask yourself, am I being expressive right now? Or am I going in and I'm being really detailed? Still getting the placement of the shapes right. All right. So I'm cropping it. I'm getting ready to move it into my composition. Bringing my drawing in, my original drawing, and showing the process of revisions now. Bringing in the hand. Sorry if that's freaking some people out. Getting the angle right in the hand. Erasing the background so I can put the hand in. So the hand is one layer, removing the layer, and I could show you this after school, shrinking the size of the hand to replace the hand that I didn't like. Okay, then I'm bringing in the man. Now, here comes the principles of design. That doesn't seem to fit, right? So in order to create unity, I need to repeat the layer. So I had to actually Google how to copy a layer, and I started to copy the layer and just drag it in. So fun fact, you could just drag a layer in and then copy it from the layer menu. Now this is repetition to create unity. So I'm repeating the same shapes and marks, rotating. Now, I need a clear path for the eye and I need to unify everything. So I have some pretty heavy darks. In order to create visual balance, I get some pastel pencil, which is even darker than charcoal. And I start to bring those darks in so my eye has a path. Right? I'm thinking of an S composition curve, want to darken the eye, make that clear. And I know this is like really hard to look at. I'm so sorry. Right? But I'm really creating those like heavy dark lines and repeating like similar strokes around the composition to make it feel like one piece. Right? So, wow. If this is hard, look away. Okay, bring in the heavy darks all around the composition. So I'm simplifying by darkening things up. What do I want to take? What do I want to leave behind? So the eye kind of knows what to look at. Adding some expressive smear rope strokes with the blending tool. I'm pretty happy with this. It's crazy. I like it. It's expressive and it's literal. So I hope this helps you guys. Think about picking one area of your drawing that you would like to improve. Maybe take a new reference. Don't take that long taking the new reference. Take that new reference so you have that stronger light source. Redraw. And then if you're swag enough, stay after school, use one of the iPads to revise, right? And make it even stronger, okay? AP Art likes to see revisions, and if you're advanced art, you're doing revisions, that's awesome too. You can use the iPads too if they're available. So excited about where we're going. We're improving our drawing this week using a variety of materials. Good luck, guys.